Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy TKO Barber, and welcome to my channel. Hey, if this is your first time here, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. That way you stay up to date with all the dope content and videos I'm gonna be dropping for y'all. But for today, man, I got a crazy transformation, man. I basically had to come and save this guy's life. His grandmother or somebody got a hold of his head, and they had to come in and, you know, emergency fix. So we really didn't do too much, just a high ball fade, a 1.5 on top. You know, doing the best we can to blend this whole thing in and make this, you know, this horrible lineup look as good as it can. But before we start, you already know the deal. Make sure you subscribe and spam that like button, man. All right, let's get to work. So as y'all can see, man, somebody went crazy on this boy's head. But you know, it's nothing that a good barber can't fix. So to start this haircut off, I'm coming in with my one guard open, going against the grain. And we just want to bring this down to a level to where it's still, you know, it's still a little dark on the top, but also to where it blends in that bad lineup for when we come behind later on. Now I am fading down this haircut, so I'm not going to bring his whole head down to a 1.5. To me, that'll just be a waste of time when we got to come behind anyway with our other guards and blend into this 1.5. So as you start to cut more heads, you'll notice that, you know, hair grows in all kind of different ways. So I'm just taking this clipper and going against all these hair patterns to make sure I get everything nice and even all the way around. So same thing over here, just going against the grain, you know, against all these different hair patterns and just making sure everything's laying nice and smooth. That's it. So since I know I did a 1.5 on top, I'm just gonna drop straight down to my lever open. Now I want this to be a high ball fade, but I also want to keep it, you know, I want to bring it up to a level to where he'll still have a little bit of those horizontal lines on the side of his lineup without pushing them back. So basically I'm just taking this lever open, you know, all the way around his head, nice and even, and just get it ready to come behind with my half guard. Now keep in mind, you don't got to try to make a, you know, a perfect straight line around his head. You know, you want it to be somewhat even, but no, you're gonna come behind and blend all that in anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But the same thing on this side, I just made sure both sides lined up evenly. You know, just connect the lines, that's it. So now we're gonna remove this line we just created by coming in with my half guard, starting with the lever close. Now if you notice, I'm starting with the lever close, and every little bit I go up, I open that lever a little bit. That's how you get that perfect contrasted blend all the way into the top of his head. And as I always say, man, you want to make sure you're using the corner of that blade as much as you can. You know, that's what enables you to, you know, fine tune that blend and hit those dark spots exactly where you want to hit them. But yeah, just starting at the bottom of that line, flick up, open that lever each time. Flick up and open that lever. And also you got to remember, underneath that half guard area is where you went ahead and did your lever open. So you know, just keep in mind, this is not gonna eliminate that line completely. We still got to come back behind and do some detail work later on. So once again over here, man, using the corner of that blade, I'm starting at the bottom of that line with my lever closed, and each time I go up, I open that notch a little bit more until I get all the way to lever open. But as y'all can see, man, after a couple steps, this fade, you know, this fade is almost done already. Fading down for me, I find that it took my fades from being 30 minutes to about 15-20, depending on the hair texture and the head. So yeah, man, y'all newer barbers, go ahead and start trying to fade down and, you know, watch the improvements. Only thing is, you have to be familiar with your, you know, your different levels and your different guidelines, because it is a little easier to get lost in the fading down. But once you got that figured out, man, it's basically the same steps without guidelines. So now I'm gonna come behind with my wall balding clipper and, you know, just bring this area down here down to the skin. Now I was gonna bring my ball line up a little bit, you know, a little bit higher to create a better illusion for that lineup, But once I blended down, started blending down from my 1.5 with that half guard, I realized I didn't have to do that, man. We can still leave it kind of low and still create a nice lineup for them. Now notice how I'm not bringing this ball line all the way up to that lever open area. I'm kind of leaving an inch, half inch in between. That way when we start blending into this, it won't leave a harsh guideline for us to have to come clean up later. So now we're gonna start attacking this bottom line and bring this whole blend together. So same thing, I'm starting right at the bottom of that line with my lever closed and I'm flicking up, just flicking at the line. And as I go deeper and higher into that, into this blend, I'm opening up my lever all the way till I get up to lever open. I was just asked not too long ago, they a barber asked me, how do you know when the blend or the fade is complete? Like how many strokes of the blade? And it's no absolute number for that. You basically have to have the eye for it and, have to be able to see and look and tell when the blend is complete. That's really it, man. Now there are going to be some spots, some spots left behind to where we are going to have to come behind with our trimmer and just flick at that line, just to get the perfect blend, man. So once again over here, just attacking that line until it's completely gone. And then once I get up to that lever open area, I'm taking the corner of that lever open, I'm just blending into that half guard area to make it a little less work for us, when we come behind and do some detail work. But yeah, man, I want to know what methods y'all use. So down in the comments, let me know. Do you fade up? Do you fade down? A combination of both? Yeah, let me know, man. I want to know what y'all out here doing. So yeah, now we at the back, just bringing this little piece together, man, and this fade, this fade is done. It really wasn't that hard to save this kid, but just next time, just bring him to the shop in the first place. So now I'm just taking that 0.5 guard, just using the corner, just coming behind that lever open and just doing some detail work, bringing this whole thing together. These are the steps you should take as a barber, to separate yourself from the rest. But yeah, you want to make sure you always do your detail work, man. Yeah, I could have left that like it was, but no, man, my eye tells me that this fade ain't done. So, I'm going to keep finessing at it until it is. So now I'm gonna start finessing this lineup, and excuse my camera, it's tripping on the focus. But yeah, man, so whoever did mess this hairline up, they didn't mess up the front of the line. They just took the C curve in extremely too much. So yeah, it is a little bit here for us to salvage and still make for a good haircut. And also, when you're doing these lineups, especially on kids with trimmers as sharp as these, you want to just make sure you tap and go. You don't really want to drag the skin too much. That's how they end up getting scars. And also, I'm just keeping this line as natural as possible, man. When you're doing these lineups, especially kids, you want to keep it natural because you got to keep in mind, their hairline is still very delicate. So if you push it back, man, 10 years down the line, they still gonna have a jacked up hairline. So yeah, just gonna go ahead and get this vertical line connected to the, to the front of his lineup. And yeah, man, this is a done deal. So I did notice this line left from the Bardon clipper. So I'm just flicking with my Slimline Pro, and I'm gonna clean it up with my lever close. But alright, YouTube, that's the cut. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. And also, down below in the comments, let me know, did I bring them back to life or not? I really want to know y'all opinions. But alright, y'all, I'm out. I'll see y'all next week.